if someone was thinking about paying for some sort of mentoring or paying for an experience that they thought was going to give them the skills that they needed, what would you say to that person to either encourage or discourage doing that?
Okay, so when it comes to mentoring, the first thing that you've got to recognize is that you're going to pay in either time or money when it comes to skills. So you can either go and learn it all yourself and not pay a mentor or anything, or you can pay someone else your own money to be able to condense how quickly you learn.
And so what is an example of going and learning it yourself?
So you'll just go and read heaps of books and watch heaps of YouTube videos, and you'll have to trial and error certain things with your own money, possibly dissatisfy customers or staff with how you do certain things. And pretty much you end up being net neutral. Like either way, like it depends on how you value your time. You're going to end up with having those skills maybe in a year or two as opposed to 2 months.
Yeah, right. And then what a mentor gets you those skills faster, but
So when it comes to looking for a mentor, you need to make sure that you've actually identified what is the specific thing that's holding your business back. And quite often it's like a really simple thing. I was having a conversation with a lady yesterday with her swim school. She had like her best month ever. Did like $40,000 in revenue as like a mobile swim instructor. That's pretty damn good money.
that's great money for a mobile swim instructor.
And then the next month she did less than $10,000.
Yeah, right. That's a big difference.
That's a huge difference. And the only thing that changed was that she was so tired and exhausted that she wasn't getting back to her clients that had inquired, and she got like 500 inquiries in a month. And so she missed out on all of this opportunity. And she thought that she had these problems with scheduling or that her team weren't motivated, where it was they were already doing work as well as mobile instructors and they didn't have time either. The thing that happened was that she had all this energy and she used it all up in the month beforehand, and then she was still in debt. And she just needed to get someone to do what she was doing for 5-6 hours a day. And that was the one thing that was holding her business back from being able to consistently do that and then be able to move into a permanent facility.
Yeah, right. So what you're saying is that she could have potentially thought about her problem in a way that isn't actually the problem, gone and spent money uselessly on getting maybe more inquiries or training her staff better, when actually the problem was just as simple as that she needed to hire someone new to do some of those responsibilities.
Yeah, so like she didn't even know what her problem was because she hadn't actually tried to map out how a how a prospect becomes a customer. And because she wasn't familiar with that entire journey and what that looks like, and she hadn't had the time or energy to sit back and reflect on what was changing, she just needed someone else's outside perspective. So like in a 20-minute call that I had with her, I just completely gave her direction and she knew exactly what she needed to go do. But she already knew it.
Yes.
She just wasn't focused on it, and she needed someone else to call her out on it pretty much and go, this is what you need to go do. Here's an example of how we do that. We have an 18-year-old girl that's just finished high school, and she calls up people that book in calls or follows up with them and gets them sorted for assessments or booking them into infant lessons. And when I said, oh, it's really that simple, like it's not that fucking hard.
And so mentoring can be as simple as just having someone that you pay money for that you know is ahead of you in your industry or in business or in the skills or the type of person who you're looking at and that you want to live a life that they want to live.
Yeah.
And having them help you pull these ideas out of your head and help them structure probably what you've already thought about, but in a time where you can actually sit there and reflect on it.
The biggest advantage is experience and skills. So experience is that you can recognize the patterns of what's occurred for you before, and then you can pass that on to someone else. So I would know how to ramp up a swim school really, really quickly because I've been a solo instructor. I've been in a small swim school, and then we've grown from a small swim school all the way up to what I would call a medium to large size swim school. And as a consequence, I can provide that direction to other people, and that's something that we've actually moved into doing as well. If you haven't been there before, you don't know what it looks like and you don't have the ability to recognize the patterns. And that is the exact same thing for any process or part of the business. So I've spent $1,000 per day on ads within our warmer months. So I know what that looks like. It feels like I know how many ads I need to produce. I know what it looks like from the amount of leads that are coming in, the amount of calls that are getting booked, and how busy everything gets. Like 80 to 90 phone calls a day coming through my phone when I didn't have any help. And then all of a sudden we hired someone. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really easy. I can just go back and make more ads and we can turn the ads up even more. And when it comes to, I pay for mentors and I will just look for anything that I can sink money into to pull my future and have it come forward as quickly as possible. So I go, oh, will it take a year or two for me to figure out how to do this? Can I find someone else that's been there, done that in a different industry as well? And how did they do it? And then I just grab that, and then I make sure that I learn that in 3 to 6 months. And that's how we've improved so fast over 4 years.
I think that the comment about the industries is specifically important. I think that you and I both share the belief that the aquatics industry, more specifically the like owner-led swimming lesson industry, is not the best version that it could be. And so looking in the outside for what does the gym space do really well, or what does supermarkets do really well, or like literally just looking across the board of like all of the different types of industries that there are, what do they do well, and then how could we apply that to our business?
100%. There's generalized functions within businesses that need tactical solutions for swim schools. So I've gone out, learned what certain industries do, spent 3 to 6 months tailoring it to a swim school, and now we've got things that work really well. A classic example is didn't know how to run ads effectively, probably spent 150 grand constantly trying things, having to turn it off in the really cold months because we just couldn't make it profitable. And then kept trying. I just was like, no, I'm going to figure this out. And then all of a sudden I got it figured out, and then we can just run ads all the time. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to figure out how I can target people more to get the same result with spending even less. And then we cut our ad spend by like 75%, which is $300 a day within the colder months. And it'll be $700 a day within the warmer months. Like, we keep on spending money to experiment, to learn faster. And when it comes to mentorship that I've looked for, that's all I look for from other people is how can I take what you've learned and done and just pull it into my life and my business really fast. And that's what I'm looking to offer for other swim school owners as well.
Yeah. And I think the flip side of that, which we're both doing right now, is we are trying to mentor other people to get even better at the skills that we currently have. Like I know you're looking at mentoring other swim schools to help them figure out where are their constraints and then how can they grow their business. I'm looking to mentor other leaders and managers because I want to become a better manager of managers. And so the easiest way to do that is to manage more managers and practice, right? So there's the flip side to it of developing the skill in a different way as well.
Yeah. And like very unique probably that we go out and try and get our skills way further ahead than what they actually need to be in our current area. Like I've run ads in different countries for different swim schools that provide different services to understand how it all works with what the demographics look like, how the ads need to look different because the people in those areas look different. The language that they use is different.
Yes.
And it gives me a much broader range of a skill set to understand if we were going to go over and actually open up swim schools in America, which we've spoken about, what that would look like versus if it was in a metropolitan area and it was a more Asian or Chinese complex, what the ads and the language on the landing pages would need to look like.